In a world where QR codes kill kittens and customer service is an oxymoron, one podcast has set out to make things right. This is the UnPodcast with your hosts, Scott Stratten and Allison Kramer.
Welcome to episode...
Hey, my mom's here.
Yeah. Oh, family's showing up. It's a family reunion for
also,
episode
Jackie's here.
199.
199.
Known in the history of the world as the golden episode.
Oh, 199. It's golden.
That's right. It's the golden episode. So one more to go, and then the audience is going to show, the crowd.
All right.
Which will rival Katy Perry's audience last night at the concert.
Yeah, and my mom is here, so if you could behave yourself, Mr. Stratton, that would be fantastic.
I don't know if Jackie just gave us the rock-on sign or the finger. I can't tell. There's a reflection on the glass, so either she's really excited or she despises us. So either way, I love you.
I have an opening story for us today from Fortune.com.
Woo.
You ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Japanese company gives non-smokers an extra week of vacation. There are a lot of benefits to choosing not to smoke. You live longer, you live healthier, and if you happen to work for the Japanese marketing firm Piala Inc., you get a lot more vacation time. Company has introduced a paid leave allowance to non-smokers, giving them an extra 6 days off per year. What do you think, Mr. Stratton?
It's great. I loved it.
It's good, right?
I saw this last night, just stumbling upon the internet, and I'm like, yep. Being somebody who used to be in HR and being somebody who used to smoke, I would go on the break as well. One job I did, and then I stopped, and I didn't smoke at the other job. But it was like a social thing, and you go out 4 times a day.
But that's what I was thinking in my head. I was actually thinking if you added up all the extra time smokers take to go and have breaks, it probably adds up to about 6 days a year. It seems perfectly fair to me.
It was a huge thing back then, and it still is now, where it's the unfairness of, so I choose not to smoke, therefore, I don't get the same time off. I love this. It's a great idea.
Yeah, it says cigarette breaks, it estimates, take at least 15 minutes.
Well, and they're also, they get sick more often. They're more benefit claims. There's
globally, this says, globally, smoking carries costs of more than $1 trillion per year.
Yeah, it's
from the World Health Organization.
You take your pick. But you can get your breaks, and then, or if not, you can have 6 extra days off.
Yeah, I like it.
I thought it was phenomenal. Well done. Well done. The problem is, it can come under, depending on what country you're in, under addiction. And then you can't discriminate based on addiction. And
I had another problem with it, which was that, like, you can still be a smoker, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's making the assumption that if you're a smoker, then you're not smoking at work.
Yeah.
So, like, if you want the extra 6 days, just don't smoke at work, and then you can just smoke at home for 6 days.
The problem is,
how do you prove it?
If you're
like a blood test.
If you're addicted to nicotine, you're
smoking at work.
You need the smoke breaks. Yeah, for sure. All right, the next one answers the historical question. This is from globalnews.ca. Is curling a sport? I know we've all been wondering.
I think a lot of Canadians would say curling is a sport.
An American Airlines agent tells a Canadian passenger it's not in a dispute over a broom.
American Airlines.
Nothing more Canadian versus America story than this one. An American Airlines is defending one of its agents after a Canadian passenger accused the airline worker of discrediting the sport of curling and attempting to charge her more for her checked baggage. Aaron McEnroe Savage, a Canadian lawyer based in California, was flying from Phoenix to San Francisco with her curling team earlier this month when an American Airlines agent allegedly declined to let her check her curling broom under the airline's standard sports equipment policy. She documented the incident on an October 13th Facebook post that has gone viral, saying the agent told her, quote, "Curling equipment is not sports equipment." Oh, hell no. She did, however, tell me that curling must not be a sport, and certainly that it isn't an elite sport like golf. What? Because if it were, we'd be fine to check through normally. She told the Washington Post that the agent tried to charge her $150 to check her oversized sports bag, a steep increase from the standard $25 fee for checked baggage. The company's website outlines specific fees for a variety of sports equipment on their website, including hang gliders, hockey gear, and archery, but does not outline charges for curling equipment. After an 8-minute exchange with the agent, she was able to check the bag containing her curling broom after removing items and duct taping the ends to make it more compact. The airline responded to the incident in a statement on Tuesday. Quote, "We all agree that curling is a sport, and our colleague in Phoenix never stated that curling wasn't not a sport." A spokesperson said.
She just said that a broom wasn't the sporting equipment.
Our colleague is a former gymnast and coach and has great respect for all athletes. Well, I'm going to disagree with that.
Hey, I have a lot of friends that are curlers.
Yeah. My father's a curler. Like, I have no problem with that. My best friend's a curler. She said Mick and Rue Savage, who curls at the San Francisco Bay Area Curling Club, alleged the agent wished she would never fly with the airline again, and the company denied the allegation. The original Facebook post was deleted from the company for including a photo of the agent and her badge, which violated the platform's policies. She reposted it with a redacted image.
It seems like a good point for WestJet to jump in with some awesome WestJet thing with Canadian
know there's only one solution to this, right? You got to have a competition.
A curling competition?
Yeah, no. The gymnast can go do her flips and things, and we can sit there and hurry hard!
Did she think she was just bringing a broom?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Has she ever seen...
Well, here's the options. She's either a professional curler...
Or...
a witch.
In which case she wouldn't need to get on the airplane. She could just fly the broom.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. And if she weighs the same as a duck, she's...
a witch.
A witch. Thank you. Very much. Problem solved. We could solve all these problems. Lickety-split. And by the way, if she was a witch and just was tired of flying, you don't argue with a witch.
No.
They will mess you up.
Is that what a real curling broom looks like? This image that we have up on the screen?
Yeah. That's from the Bonspiel. Yeah.
What?
Bonspiel. On the Briar. Yeah.
On the Briar?
Yeah. Hurry hard. We've never curled before.
No.
Neither have I.
No.
Has anybody here curled?
Adam raised his hand.
Of course Adam is curled.
I did.
Oh, my mom just talked on the podcast. She's been curling.
Norma's I know. I could have guessed that.
Really? She
Yeah.
looks like a curler?
No, she's
or a
got
witch.
that adventurous spirit. Yeah, I can see her curling. Were you throwing the rock or were you sweeping?
I did both, but I swept more.
I love it. Norma, you're wonderful. You make the show better just by being here. I'm not going to ask Adam what he did because I don't care. After my mother-in-law told us that answer, it was perfect. I'm good. Next.
Yeah, next.
Okay, so millennials. Am I right?
From curling to
Am
millennials?
I right or am I right?
Here we go.
That's the whole article, by the way. That's all I'm going to say. That's the whole section. Millennials. All right, so I'm going to read you something.
Okay, I'm ready.
Let's examine it for a moment, this horrible fate visiting this generation. This is from Newsweek. This is a generation that was raised with the highest standard of living in the history of the world. By the time they arrived on the scene, their parents were comfortably established in middle class and could afford to satisfy their offspring's every whim, and they did in spades. They finally face adulthood now. This is a generation whose every need has been catered to since birth. And now they finally face adulthood, they expect the gift-giving to continue. I'm 28, I'll never own a house, they whine. I'm 25 and I don't have a high-paying job, says another. Are these realistic? Of course not. Of course not. It's a generation raised on the principle of instant satisfaction, simply can't understand the concepts of long-term planning and deferred gratification. What's their reaction when they don't get what they want? That's right, they throw a tantrum.
Oh, God. This is written by the most bitter
Those who
human
pursued
being
a
ever.
liberal arts degree with a view of attaining a job were either wealthy or naive. Those who thought fine arts or film studies would yield more than a subsistence living were only fooling themselves. And those who entered law school find sympathy hard to come by. More lawyers is one thing we definitely do not need.
Cheapers.
The Whiners decry the lack of entry-level professional positions in the marketplace. So I invite the Whiners to put aside their TV generation values and accept cold, hard reality. Interesting, high-paying jobs and rich lifestyles are not automatic. They are not even commonplace. Most people live ordinary lives of quiet desperation, stuck in uninteresting jobs that they're afraid to lose. If you want more than that, move out of your parents' houses, start working, and for heaven's sake, stop whining.
Who wrote this?
This
They're
was written
terrible.
in Newsweek, and this was written October 31st, 1993,
About us.
about Gen X.
Of course.
This was not written about millennials.
It's not about
Perfect.
millennials.
This is written about us. This is written about us when we were the millennial age. When you were listening to this, our 7 listeners and those in the control room in the room right now, I assume you assumed I was describing something talking about millennials. And the point of this is that, again, every generation resents, despises, nay, hates the younger generation.
It was written by a pretty angry-sounding person.
Well, this is written after Douglas Copen wrote his Gen X
Gen
blog.
X book.
And it was pretty, big at the time.
Yeah.
And the point is, it's just a birthright that it's a bias because it's not millennials. It's you're young, and those of us who are not then look back at that and resent something about it. You didn't struggle the same. You didn't have to work the same. It's called your existence. It's being human. And people are like, well, you should know that. And like, why are we expecting 18-year-olds to act 45?
Yeah.
Right? When somebody acts 18, that should be expected. That I certainly was a different person at 18 than I am at 42. I would hope you are. Because your wants, your needs, your Maslow's hierarchy shifts between your brain. When do you think about retirement? And
I've been planning for retirement since I was 17. I'm an exceptional character.
Right, but when you think about putting money into your retirement account when you hit 60.
But even the things that the person said who wrote it, the idea that like you expect to have a high-paying job at 25, I don't think anyone expects to have a high-paying job at 25.
But it's the exact same thing being said now.
About us.
Right.
We are pretty lazy. I'm not sure we're good poster children.
But boomers were also called, I could give you almost the exact same article for boomers. Hippies. Bunch of hippies. Bunch of hippies. Bunch of people just protesting, easily offended. Boomers were easily offended.
Yeah.
Right? They didn't have loyalty. They had no work ethic. They're going to Woodstock.
It was pretty fun to find all the articles about people speaking badly about generations that were younger than them. We found them going back to what? There was some from the 1800s.
1820. There was something written about this
they were
new
doing
generation.
Something. They were playing a game. What was it? It was like dominoes or something weird.
They're playing chess.
It was an article from the 1800s saying like this new generation's playing this game. It's just a waste of time and
a mindless game.
No
of chess.
work ethic, and it was chess.
Instead of going out to the fields and working, they are numbing their minds with chess.
How dare they?
Right. And this article talks about how we're stuck to our computers.
Yeah. To our computers on our desktops.
Yeah, our desktops.
Riveted to the desktop.
The industry's never catching on. And now you just replace computer with phone. It's this allowable bias that, and you want to know how to piss off a millennial? Just call them a millennial. Nobody likes to be labeled.
I think we're outnumbered today by a millennial.
Yeah, we are. I think. Wait, how many millennials are we?
There's a lot.
18 to 35 in this room. 18 to 35. 18 to 35.
Yeah, there's a lot. We're highly outnumbered.
You're close.
No, he's not. He's over. We've done this before with Adam.
Have we? I don't remember.
Oh, yeah,
we've definitely. I don't even know who he is.
We've made Adam say his age on probably a dozen podcasts.
Yeah? Oh, we know Wayne's age. That's a common theme on this one. He's a millennial.
You know it.
Yeah. But, right, that's the whole thing, right? Yeah. You want to tick you guys off, just label you. You just don't know what you're talking about.
For anyone.
For anything, unless you call me handsome. That's a label I will get behind.
Handsome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I have an article from the CBC. Tim Hortons logos on the wedding tux. Couples hit up sponsors to subsidize their big day. And it's really funny because there's a little note on here. It's not actually in the article. It says, Trend has plenty of critics who say it's crass. Which I think is really funny. So apparently people aren't into it. Samantha Hartley may want corporations to sponsor her wedding, but she has her limits. I kind of draw the line at any logos on my dress.
Woo! Thank goodness.
Like, that's your line? I don't understand. Just have a less expensive wedding. What's wrong with people?
You know how much our wedding was?
Like, I can't remember, $42 or something.
$63, yeah.
The Guelph, Ontario
Including tip.
The Guelph, Ontario woman is seeking cash donations and sponsors for her wedding, November 2018. Part of a growing trend of couples looking for creative ways to fund their big day without breaking the bank. Hartley has posted her quest on 2 crowdsourcing sites. Like, crowdsourcing sites are for, like, companies you're trying to get started, for charities. People. Hartley has posted her quest on 2 crowdsourcing sites, including Sponsor My Event, which is a thing. Sponsor My Event is a site. It regularly features eager brides and grooms to be seeking sponsors, promising that in return, companies will get their brands exposed to a captive audience. Because when do people want to see advertisement more than when they're at your special day?
When they're already sitting through a ceremony they don't want to sit through. Perfect.
It says, looking at sponsors to provide items on their wish list, such as a gospel choir, a plane ticket for the best man, and spa services for the bride. Maybe your taste is too expensive. And that's the line. Oh, it says they draw the line at logos on the wedding dress, but the tux, fair game. A big logo on the back of your tuxedo.
Just have back patches like junior hockey.
Yeah, like the European hockey leagues too, right? Just all labeled up.
Why don't you just spend
Yeah, you
less
spend less on a
money
wedding. Yeah.
on your wedding.
By the way, kids in the control room right now, you're going to need a sponsored wedding. Yeah, it's going to be.
It's
hit them up now.
crazy.
Start crowdfunding now for that children.
Money's tight in our family. We don't want to put a burden on your parents. Your parents don't need to pay for your wedding either. Just spend a little less money. There's
Norma,
no
can I get an
shame.
amen for that from the room there? Let's get an amen back
She
there.
might not be listening.
Oh, she's listening.
She's listening.
I think it's crazy. I understand. The only thing I can possibly understand, is that if it's a wedding dress company, but they're talking about like just rando people sponsoring your wedding. Have a less expensive wedding. I'm going to solve all your problems.
Yeah, Yeah. All right. Let's,
You want a made-up word?
let's do a made-up word.
Do we have music?
I think so.
Don't make any sense. Don't mean no offense. It brings laziness. What is all this craziness?
Apparently turning into one of the most popular segments of our show, the made-up word section. We get more of these than articles now, which is great and fun, but a lot we got to choose. Sometimes we got to choose.
Yeah.
A made-up word is a word you run across that you look at it and say, what? And then it's a couple words, and you send it to us. If we pick your word, we will give you any one of our books. You let us know. We'll send it right on to you.
So this is from Cameron Meyer, and the word is prepone.
Prepone.
Would anyone like to guess about what prepone means?
Wayne or the control room folks, what's prepone? Okay, now it's on.
I have no idea.
No one wants to guess?
No idea.
No.
No idea?
Okay, in the room
Tess
here?
is here.
Prepone?
Prepone?
Nobody.
So it's ridiculous because we have words that mean this. Like sometimes it's like a new word that's a combination of ideas. We actually have a word to represent this. It says prepone. A friend shared how he had a client asked to prepone a meeting by 30 minutes, assuming it to be the opposite of postpone.
So you moved it earlier.
We already have words for that.
Yeah, it's called earlier.
Yeah, it's called earlier.
Yeah,
So
I want to prepone that meeting. If somebody said that to you, you need to cancel the meeting. You need to cancel the meeting, rethink your career choice. If it's a client, fire the client. If it's a vendor, you're not buying from them. If it's a family member, disown them.
all right, there we go.
Prepone.
Prepone.
Unless they say prepone.
Prepone.
Like prepone. And
Prepone.
then I'm fine with that. Yeah, it's called earlier. Yeah. It's like when Lyft came out with a large vehicle that many people could get on
Yeah.
and travel where they needed to on a certain predefined route in the city. They
Like a
invented
shuttle.
They invented a bus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Airbnb that's has a building where you can rent
It's all
spots.
Airbnbs.
All Airbnbs. It's like a hotel.
You invented a hotel.
Yeah, you invented a hotel.
congratulations.
Good job.
Congratulations.
On that note, should we end 199?
Yeah, we should prepone the show.
We should. No, we can't prepone the show. We
Earlier.
already did it.
Oh, crap. I already screwed the word up.
You did. You didn't use it properly in a sentence.
Coming up next, live studio audience of at least 6 out of the 7 listeners.
Can't wait.
See you next week.
Be sure to subscribe to the podcast on iTunes and visit theunpodcast.com. And remember, friends don't let friends use QR codes.